Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing, Dr. Chris?
I'm doing awesome.
Oh, good. Well, I'm going to start a little bit in the beginning. Where are you actually originally from?
I'm a Philadelphia boy, raised in Philadelphia, and then spent a lot of time out in New York.
And you live in New York now?
No, now I'm an LA guy. I've been there about a decade, so I still have a lot of the East Coast edge, but California's been really good and chilled me out a little bit.
Now, tell me about your educational background, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my career doing clinical social work, really getting grassroots social justice work done, and then got into psychology, did a doctoral program in clinical psych, and then did one in human sexuality, and just started to kind of bring them all together and try to weave in social justice to the mental health field.
Now, what led you to join Loveline?
Oh man, 25 years. It's an iconic institution. When I was offered the gig, I thought, let me be the one that kind of makes it more current, brings it into the 21st century, pushes us away from some of the gender roles and gender norms, brings some feminism in there. So I made it uber sex positive, body positive, and it's been a really great experience.
Now, what do you like best about working with Amber Rose?
She inspires me. I've worked with a lot of great people, and she continually inspires me. She's someone who built a career just on dating and being in the public eye, but then turned it into something bigger and works really, really hard on her feminism. And she has the Slut Walk, which works to empower females and bring attention to sexual trauma and sexual abuse. And so together, we're kind of like a nonstop duo.
Now, what else are you working on right now?
So right now I'm working with Tenga. I've been working with Tenga for a few years. They're an amazing, amazing, amazing organization and company. They focus on elevating the conversation around self-care, sexual wellness, and sexual health. And right now we're working on the Feel More campaign. And basically it's about getting guys to be more comfortable moving away from standard male norms, which are about aggression and assertion, and really focusing on sexual health and pleasure, and working on boosting self-esteem and relational health through sexual pleasure aids and toys and wellness products.
Now, tell me about this new survey, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 2018 Global Self-Pleasure Report by Tenga brought out a really a lot of important information. It showed us how 90% of Americans believe that maleness is tied to those negative qualities, aggression, assertion, but 77% of guys, thankfully, have pushed back on that and really want to be allowed to go outside of those boxes and be more sensitive and focus more on self-care and sexual wellness. And profoundly for me was the millennials, which are kind of showing us what that could look like. 47% of them have told us that the male expectations stress them out and overwhelm them. And so the work in the coming years and in the holidays is about more self-care.
Now, do you think toxic masculinity exists?
Absolutely. Toxic masculinity exists. It's something that a lot of us have been raised on. And again, that is those problematic norms around what it means to be a man. And it's really time that we step outside of those expectations and focused on just general self-care, emotional and physical well-being, and looking at all the ways that it impacts our mental health.
Now, do you think the Me Too movement is making things confusing for some of the good guys out there?
No, I think the good guys are supportive of the Me Too movement, and they're saying, thankfully, it's a time where problematic males are being held accountable. And I think it's really inspiring to guys like myself who want to be part of improving culture and making sexual health available to everyone.
Now, why are men, younger men, actually a little bit more expressive than older men? Is it just because we've been more vocal about it being okay for guys to be good with their emotions?
Yeah, the millennials just aren't willing to fall in line like the older generations are. The millennials are doing things in ways that make sense to them, and they're more focused on sexual health and wellness and social justice values and some feminism. And so they're pushing back, and they're really wanting to be occupying masculinity in the way that me and Tenga talk about it, which is about feeling more and having more access to emotional health and self-care.
Now, what is something we should do if the man or men in our lives are reluctant to talk about these kind of issues?
Yeah, well, there's sites like feelmore.global, and it has information and products, and it kind of brings us back to looking at how self-love and self-care is going to improve self-esteem, it's going to improve happiness, it's going to help push our relationships forward. And so it's about guys kind of going back to themselves and really centering, am I taking care of myself in all the diverse ways that I have to?
Now, people often hear about love aids and that kind of stuff for couples or women, but I don't think there's too many out there for men. What do men?
No. Men, historically have just been very lazy and less focused on really centering and prioritizing their own sexual well-being and self-care. And that's where I talk to them about purchasing Tenga products. I recommend the S Cup and the Egg series, the Cup series and the Egg series. And those things are going to really bring a guy back to their body, because part of healthy relational functioning and emotional health is being more embodied. And self-pleasure is one of the best and most direct routes to do that.
Now, you have a new book coming out called Rebel Love. Can you please tell me about that?
Absolutely. Like the name suggests, I'm trying to get people to kind of push outside of their comfort zone and get more sex positive and body positive and center things like feeling more and self-pleasure habits and just really using sexual self-empowerment as a tool to being a better person.
Now, when you aren't working, what do you like to do for fun?
What's fun? Yeah, I don't have a lot of downtime, but when I do, I'm focusing on the self-care stuff. I'm working on better habits around my physical health, but also things like slowing down and focusing on taking a bath and just sitting with myself and outdoors and hiking, sexual self-pleasure, things like that that just really kind of ground myself.
Now, how do you like fans to connect with you?
I'm sorry, say that one more time?
How do you like your fans to connect with you?
Oh, on my social media, at Dr. Donahue is my Instagram, or at Chris Donahue on my Twitter. And I like to be as highly available and as engaged as possible.
Now, when did your book come out?
My book will be coming out in January.
Now, do you have readings already scheduled for it or not yet?
Not yet. That's something I'm going to start putting in place in the next couple weeks.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there
Thank
anything
you.
else you'd like to add?
Yeah, for more information, go to feelmore.global or tenga-global.com. And again, there's more statistics, more about the self-pleasure report, and also how you can purchase some products.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.